Hey guys, it's Madison, and guess what? I'm learning Japanese again. Last week, I was browsing on Netflix. I had opened the screen, and you know how there's always those recommendations for shows to watch, and if your mouse is just hovering over one of them, it'll automatically start playing the preview. So I had opened Netflix, and without noticing, I had let my mouse hover over the top recommendation, and it started playing a preview for a Japanese drama. And I've actually never watched any Japanese dramas. But when I saw it, I was like, wow, Japanese. I haven't done anything with Japanese in a very long time. It'd be interesting to, I don't know, just watch a Japanese drama and just see what the language sounds like in real life. Because even though I studied Japanese before in school, I never really actually heard the language being used in real life beyond very, very small listening dialogues in the textbook. So for context, I've studied Japanese once before. It was in college. 3 years ago, I took one semester of basic Japanese. I remember it being very easy for me personally, just because the grammar was pretty easy for me. I already knew about particles. I already knew, my brain is very used to having verbs at the end of sentences. And then also, like, I studied Chinese for 3 years, and so basic kanji was also very easy for me as well because I knew basically all of the characters already. I just had to learn new pronunciations. But anyway, that was 3 years ago. I only took one semester, so I didn't get very far, and I've basically forgotten everything since then. I've never studied on my own or done anything to review really. So I only remember a couple basic greetings and like how to make very, very basic sentences. My vocabulary is almost all gone, and I didn't learn very much grammar to begin with. It was just very basic, simple stuff. But yeah, so I decided to click on this drama and give it a shot, and was it an amazing drama? Not really. It was very basic tsundere style drama. Um, but the language, it was so fun to watch a show where the language was like vaguely familiar and like I could recognize parts of like basic grammar, but at the same time, it was I haven't like watched a show with something that was totally foreign to me for such a long time. It was kind of cool to be like, wow, a language I don't know. But yeah, as I watched both seasons of the drama, it was cool that I was actually able to pick out and like pick up some like grammar notes or like language usage notes. Like I kind of figured out obviously in the first semester of my college studies, we never got to like informal speech, like casual speech between friends, the panmar of Japanese. They only did like the polite form of speech. But I could kind of figure out with context and also with what I know about the formal speech, what is the informal form based on all the conversations between the friends and the leads in the drama. And I'm just really excited to like unlock the language even more. It was really cool to like because of my Korean background, I I kind of know what different grammar structures there could be because they're pretty similar. And so just by watching and having my very, very basic rusty knowledge of the basic sentence structure in Japanese, I could like figure out different sentence endings and stuff like that. So it was really cool. Like it was a really cool language investigation exercise. I've been looking into what different like resources there are for beginning learners because I'm not really into buying just a bunch of textbooks and learning via textbooks. Textbooks are fine, but that's not how I learn Korean, and it's not really I don't wanna dump a bunch of money into the language learning process. So I was looking for, like, a Talk to Me in Korean equivalent because Talk to Me in Korean's website is honestly how I got the foundation of my Korean knowledge. That gave me basically the entire grammar not the entire grammar, but pretty much all the grammar that you need to become fluent in Korean is on their website for free. So yeah, basically I learned Korean through Talk to Me in Korean and then just hundreds and hundreds of hours of watching Korean dramas for 10 years gave me so much input and so much exposure to Korean that it helped me become fluent. So yeah, I didn't really ever like study in a traditional method for Korean. I just took a lot of Talk to Me in Korean's resources for free and then lots of exposure to the language via dramas. And yeah, I was looking for a similar way I could do this in Japanese. Unfortunately, there's not like any direct equivalent of Talk to Me in Korean for Japanese. Um, the closest thing I found is the Pod 101 series. So they have a bunch of languages, but Japanese Pod 101. I never used Korean Pod 101, but they seem to be kind of similar to Talk to Me in Korean's lesson format, where they have like a short, like podcast style audio lesson along with like a transcript and like lesson notes, vocabulary, stuff like that. So it looks to be a really good resource. I registered yesterday for it, and they give you like a one-time offer for the free version where you can spend $1 and have a month of premium access. So I was like, $1 is pretty close to being free, and it looks like they have a bunch of resources. So I decided to spend the $1, really open the wallet there for Japanese. And I'm hoping to spend like this 30-day period of basically free premium content, just packing as much of the content in as possible. But yeah, for now, I'm using Japanese Pod 101. And yeah, I'll check back at the end of the month and let you know how it goes. I'm hoping that since I'm not planning to continue the premium membership, that this 1 month, like the time limit, will kind of motivate me to study harder and put more time towards my Japanese study and not be as lazy and like, "Oh, I can do it tomorrow," because my tomorrows are limited. So yeah, I'm hoping to really make some serious progress in this first month. At the beginning, it'll just be reviewing what I've already learned and then, seeing how far I can take it from there. But yeah, that's the plan so far, and we'll see how it goes. Until next time. 안녕.